Good morning, my love. Happy Tuesday. Beautiful Tuesday here at the lake. Currently 52 degrees. The high today is 84. And I got to show you this. The sun's coming up. And Finn says, good morning. I didn't know if you heard that. Interesting topic today. This is good. It's something that each of us go through in our own way throughout our lives. And it's something that I call the day of lasts. L-A-S-T-S. The day of final things. Some are good, some are not so good. The good days of last, the last time you know, when you have your last chemo treatment. Oh, honey, that's big. That is huge. When you have your baby, it's the last time you're a single person. From this point on, you're mom and dad. That is amazing. That is a huge blessing. That's a good last. When you're getting married, you're no longer single. You're a couple. You're into couplehood. That's a good day of lasts. So there are some really nice days of last. Oh, and I can't forget, when you graduate high school, you're no longer a student. That is a wonderful day of last day of being a student. When you get your PhD or your master's, or you just get your bachelor's, again, last day of being a student. You are now an official grown-up in the real world. That's great. Another day of lasts. Moving out of mom and dad's home, getting your own place. You are officially an adult. Congratulations. The last day of childhood. You're on your own, kiddo. That's huge. Some aren't so good. Some are really horrific. When you lose someone, that might be the last time you have dinner with them, the last phone conversations, the last hug, the last kiss. When you're joking around, that was the last time. Days of last. Because when I saw this post yesterday and it brought it all back, and I thought of so many things for my dad. Dad's been gone 11 years, and my dad was in his 90s when he passed, and when he was in his late 80s, it was time to talk to him about not driving anymore. His reflexes weren't, he was a great driver. I don't think he ever had a ticket or an accident, but when you're in your 80s, your late 80s, sometimes your reflexes suck, and his did. So we had the conversation, and he agreed, because he had kind of started to recognize that there wasn't an argument or anything like that. But it was very emasculating. It hit his manhood to take his car keys, because Daddy was always the one, you know, if the snow was deep, I'll drive you to work. I'll take care of it. I'll pick you up. You don't worry about it. If something happened, Daddy was there, you know. He had the car, we got it. Taking those car keys away, that was a big thing. And I remember him saying, yep, the last time I drive my car, a day of lasts. It was good and it was bad. It was good because he recognized it, but it was sad. When somebody's passing. And this is something I really want people to understand. People who are terminal know they're terminal, for the most part. They know. They understand this. They may want to have those final conversations with people. Let them. It is not a conversation you necessarily want to have, because you're having to accept their passing. Do it anyway. Let them say what they need to say. You say what you need to say, but keep it kind and thoughtful, because it's going to be the day of lasts. It might be the last conversation you have with them. So often, I get calls from family members whose loved one has passed from, occasionally it's a terminal illness, but more commonly it's a sudden heart attack, a stroke, a car accident, something horrific happened, and they had had an argument with them. Their last conversation was harsh words, saying horrible things. Kids that are mad at mom and dad, slamming those doors, I hate you, you're a horrible parent, and then something happens. And they are just so distraught, because they didn't mean it, but they said it. They want them to know that they love them. They didn't mean those words. And I can tell them all day long, yes, they do. They know you love them. But those words still came out of your mouth. Days of lasts. Think about it. I know in my life, when I lost my daughter, that was the one and only time I got to hold her. Truly a day of lasts when I lost Claire. About 9, 10 years ago, I was engaged to a really nice guy, of course, and he died suddenly of a heart attack. We had just had a phone conversation one evening, and he was still at work, and it was late, and I got a call just maybe 15 minutes later from his best friend that worked with him and said that he's dead. And I said, what do you mean? I just talked to him. He said he had a heart attack. He died. Days of last. That was our last conversation. I was absolutely devastated. Absolutely devastated. Days of last. My mom had cancer. My dad had horrible lung disease. He was a chemical engineer and head of research and development, and his lungs were toast. And my mom had those final conversations with all of us kids. That's when I found out I was adopted, when she told me she's not my mom. Days of last. With Dad, I was right there. I held him when he took his last breath, me and the 2 other nurses. And I knew that was his last day. As a nurse, I knew. He knew. He told me. I was with him that morning. He was in a care facility. And I got there really, really early and had coffee with him. And he told me, I want to watch golf today. The Masters were on. And I said, okay. And he said, it's the last one I'm going to watch. He knew. It was the day of lasts. The day of lasts. And it's traumatic. It's hard. So it's important to have those conversations so that you don't have the regrets. Because it's things, you will carry with you your entire life. And I don't want you to go through that pain. I want you to feel confident. I want you to have the closure that you need, because you're not always going to get it. And of course, each of us will have our day of lasts. The last time we cook a meal for someone, the last Christmas, the last Thanksgiving, the day of lasts. Be mindful of how you speak to people, how you speak to yourself, the things that you do. Hug your kids a little tighter when they go out the door. Say something really sweet to your partner, because you never know when there's going to be that car accident. In today's world, oh my God, the gunmen, that go into schools and just start shooting. They go into synagogues and churches and mosques and just start shooting. Shopping malls. You never know when it's going to be the day of lasts. So be mindful of that. Speak kindly. Speak from the heart. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. Put your mouth in neutral and think. Put your brain in drive and think before you speak, because of the day of lasts. It's just something to think about, because it happens to everybody every day. You lose a job, it's the last time you've talked to your coworkers. And you may have been really, really close to some of them. Well, so much for that. You may be moving across the country and leaving neighborhoods and friends, the day of lasts. Just think about it, okay? Just be mindful. Be very, very mindful. That's all.